All right, let's jump right in. If you're anywhere near the construction industry, you know the project schedule isn't just a document, it is the absolute lifeblood of your entire operation. It controls your money, your scope, your progress, everything. So, the big question is, what software do you trust to manage it all?
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We're talking about a world where a single missed deadline can set off a massive chain reaction of budget blowouts and legal claims. This is exactly why picking your scheduling software is one of the most critical decisions you can possibly make.
You know, in the project controls world, two names just keep popping up again and again. Now, they both create schedules, sure, but you'll see they were born from two completely different philosophies.
So let's meet our two contenders. In one corner, you've got Oracle's Primavera P6, known as the undisputed heavyweight champion. And in the other, Microsoft Project, the incredibly versatile workhorse that, let's be honest, a lot of us already know how to use.
So think of P6 as the industry's gold standard, especially for those massive, complex mega projects. It's built from the ground up to handle tens of thousands of tasks with super strict control. See, it's not just a file you pass around, it's built on a seriously powerful database designed for governance and traceability. That's why government agencies and huge industrial clients often demand it.
And then you've got Microsoft Project. Its biggest strength? It's just so accessible. It looks and feels like all the other Microsoft 365 tools, so it feels familiar right out of the gate. For projects that are still really complex, but maybe not on that mega program scale, it's a super practical and user-friendly choice.
Okay, so how do they really compare when you put them side by side? Let's break it down and get into a real head-to-head, starting with how they were designed at their very core.
And this right here, this basically tells you everything you need to know about their different DNA. P6 is all about top-down, enterprise-level control. Think standardization across a huge portfolio. Microsoft Project, on the other hand, is built for bottom-up speed and ease of use, so you can get a plan built and out the door quickly. Now these are the nitty-gritty details that career schedulers absolutely geek out about. With P6, you can have multiple people working in the same schedule at the same time. That's huge. Having unlimited baselines, that is absolutely critical for analyzing delays. And you've got things like built-in risk tracking and weighted steps to measure progress. P6 just has a depth that Project doesn't offer right out of the box.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit and see how these tools fit into the bigger picture. You can see P6 is an absolute powerhouse for pure enterprise scheduling, no question. But then, look at things like integrating with Microsoft 365, or reporting in Power BI, or just straightforward team collaboration. That's where the Microsoft solution really starts to shine, especially if your company is already living in that ecosystem.
So after all that, which one should you actually pick? Well, the key here is to stop asking which one is better and start asking which one is the right fit for this specific job.
Here's a quick checklist you can run through. First, and honestly, this is the most important, what does your contract say? If the client, say the Department of Transportation, requires P6, well, your decision's already been made for you. Then you think about scale. Are we building a multi-billion-dollar airport or a mid-size office building? And don't forget your team skills. P6 requires some serious expertise.
This quote just nails it, right? They aren't really rivals fighting for the same title. They're different tools designed for completely different problems. You know, you wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture, and you wouldn't use a little tack hammer to break up a concrete slab. It's about matching the tool to the job. But here's the thing, and this is a huge but. Picking the right scheduling software is really only half the battle. Because even the most perfect, elegant schedule in the world can completely fall apart the second it hits the chaotic reality of an active construction site. There is a massive gap between the planner's office and the field.
And this is the disconnect we're talking about. It's a pretty sobering reality. The master schedule lives on one person's computer, but the site managers are out there trying to run the show with a messy combination of spreadsheets, emails, text messages. It's fragmented, and it creates a ton of risk.
And this isn't some abstract problem. It causes real headaches every single day. The schedule gets out of sync. Change orders get lost in an email abyss. People start working off the wrong version of a drawing. In trying to create a simple progress report, it turns into this frantic, manual scramble that's already out of date by the time you finish it.
So, to really succeed in today's world, you have to close that gap. You need to connect that high-level plan directly to the work that's happening minute by minute out in the field. And that means you have to move past these old, disconnected methods.
So how do you do that? It starts by getting rid of the tools that were never ever designed for managing a construction site in the first place. The answer isn't a better spreadsheet. It's a platform built for the job.
And that is exactly where a tool like Lementai comes into the picture. It's a construction management platform specifically designed to solve that on-site disconnect. It digitizes your daily workflows from logs and inspections to task management, so your plan and your field team are finally working from the same single source of truth.
Honestly, the best way to see the kind of difference it can make is just to try it out for yourself. You can get started with Lementai completely free and start to digitize your job site right away.
So there you have it, our look at Primavera P6 versus Microsoft Project. This explainer was brought to you by Lementai. At the end of the day, picking the right scheduling software is crucial, but closing that gap between the plan and the field, well, that's a challenge everyone faces. Thanks so much for tuning in.